On the second episode of Keynotes, Altamash Javed. Hailing from Pakistan, Altamash is a notable photographer in UAE who is being recognized around the world for his minimalist yet stunning landscape photography. He works with Apple and Sony in the Middle East and has been featured on the official Instagram account for the symmetrical framing and a unique perspective of the things around us. In this episode, he shares his journey from being an investment banker to a professional photographer. We also talk about the importance of mentorship in the growth of individuals, and Altamash shares the specs of his dream camera. Let's get on with the second episode of Keynotes with Altamash Javed. Hello and welcome to another episode of Keynotes with your host Farrukh Ahmed. Before we get into the podcast, I want to thank everyone for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. Keynotes is an inspirational podcast where we get to meet super talented and accomplished people who are making a difference in the society to share their life experiences in a hope to inspire you as well. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Let's get into it with my guest today, pro photographer Altamash Javed.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How's it going?
Good. Not bad.
I was going through your website
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about it in detail, but a very interesting thing. You have not been a photographer since the beginning.
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's talk about that journey.
Yeah.
What were you in your past life?
I used to be professionally an investment banker. So it's the same old story. You know, you grow up, you go to school, you go to college. You don't go to art school. You go do business or engineering, beta. I'm like, all right, I'll do business. And I majored in finance. So yeah, I went to investment banking right through. Did that for about 7 years. Never liked a second of it.
Really?
I joined in the best year possible. I joined in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here in UAE?
In the UAE. Yeah,
Okay.
I was recruited right
those
at
were good times.
2007 was the good time.
Yeah.
2008 was euphoria.
Oh,
it was
yes.
euphoria. So
Yeah.
like I remember when I got hired, my boss said by the end of the year you should have your Porsche. Like your bonus will come in and you'll get your Porsche. I'm like, all right, sign the paper, let's do it. It's by the summer we kind of knew, right? It was all going to hell, and then Lehman collapsed in September.
I was lucky because I got out in 2007.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Good timing. Yeah, then it was like, for me, it's just sort of been like survival of the fittest in the whole investment banking career. I remember when I joined the first day, they threw like this mutual funds book at me. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? It was used to like memorize it, understand it, and go sell it. I was like, whoa, I felt like my soul just departed. Like, what is going on? Yeah, but I did that for 7 years. Yeah.
So getting into investment banking, was it an accident or was it a decision?
That was a decision. Yeah, that was a decision because
you studied finance.
Yeah, I studied finance. I had a really great teacher. I think teachers can make all the difference, right? So I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed all the stuff that comes with finance, you know, forecasting and evaluations and all that kind of stuff. So when the opportunity came, I took it. And, you know, it was a very fast growing investment bank. I was like, yeah, this is the right place to be. But once I got into the workspace, like I almost immediately knew maybe this is not for me.
You know, the red pill or the blue pill?
The blue pill, yeah. So I had to swallow one pill. I was like, oops, this might be a mistake. Yeah, so job-wise, I did that for a while. And then when I left the bank, I kind of also did my own thing in investment management for like a couple of years. But at the same time, the love of photography, social media, everything was starting to take off.
Yeah.
Then I made a brave decision one day of like leaving this behind, even though it's kind of like I was getting like small gigs like here and there from Instagram and making a little bit of money. But it's only when I started like really getting the big money or matching your salary per se per month that you go, okay, I can take this risk now.
But all of that social media was pretty new in this part of the world.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
At that point in time.
Very new, yeah.
So you think it was a bit easier to stand out from the crowd because there weren't so many people on Instagram taking all sorts of...
Yes, I would agree. Like nowadays, I feel like everything is oversaturated. There are a lot of people everywhere. Everyone's a creator now, right? Everyone's a photographer, videographer. Yeah. I feel like in the early days, like, I mean, I'm inherently very, very shy. I'm introverted. So I had to push myself to go out and meet their communities here. Photography communities, they go for these walks at sunrise and all that.
Yeah.
So I really had to push myself because I was miserable with the whole
Mm-hmm.
investment banking thing. And I remember I went out and met these people. So those were early days. Like the communities were small. When a brief used to come of a project, everyone would get that same brief. We all knew each other.
Yeah.
Is getting that email. You know what I mean? We could bounce ideas off each other. Nowadays, it's not the case at all. At all. It's such a huge net of people out there. So your work really needs to...
So competition is there, and then everybody thinks that they are, the best in the business.
Oh, yeah. Everyone who knows how to do a transition now.
Yeah, and then sometimes somebody in the organization will just get up and say, hey, why are you paying so much to a pro photographer?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it for you for free or...
I'll do it for some exposure. Yeah. That's what the new kids are saying.
Yeah.
But definitely we've seen... the new kids come in. I mean, we're literally talking about kids here, like in the late teens, early 20s, and they don't know budgets, they don't know costing, they don't know a lot of things. So they'll do it at a fraction of the cost. And the clients will obviously hop on board because they've seen some of the work, it's decent, they'll do it. And then later these guys are learning slowly and slowly. But yeah, we need to figure this money thing out. Yeah.
So how was that journey from leaving a 9-to-5 job? Because there's always... that sense of insecurity, when you're starting your own thing, your own gigs.
Yeah.
So how was that journey? Wasn't it scary?
Extremely scary. Just a bit of backdrop. I am married and I had a kid by that point as well. So there's added pressure there. Like you need to be bringing.
Yes, of course.
You got to bring the milk and bread home.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have a very, very supportive wife. She's working too. And she knew how miserable I was with the whole thing. But it's not like, just go and pursue your passion just because you like to take photos of, the skyline.
Yeah.
She saw me sort of develop a business out of it. Like I was getting gigs, I was pitching to some clients, I had some targets in mind.
This was while you were still working for the bank?
Yeah, ish, okay. Yeah. And so then she said like, okay, I think you're at a point now where it's okay income-wise, you're bringing in something, but I can always sort of be the buffer, cushion, the backup. Yeah. So if I don't think if it was that setup, I would be able to. Yeah. So we had this sort of strategic planning as well, and now alhamdulillah I'm at a stage where it's fine. Yeah.
And when did this transition complete? What
I would
year?
say completion would be 2016, end of 2016.
Oh, it took quite a lot of time then.
It took a long time, yeah.
So you have to build your brand, you have to build your portfolio, prove, and of course have a ton of networking setups.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And photography is your forte. You have not moved into videography as such.
Not as strongly. I've done a few.
But I saw your YouTube channel and I saw your video, especially the Turkey one, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I really loved it. I think you should do a lot of that, a lot more.
Correct, yeah. I'm very lazy when it comes to video, and I think that's also been a mistake because as I was focusing on photography, a lot of these people were like, you should do video. With me, it's sort of like it's an artistic expression, right? So if it doesn't come from within, I really struggle.
But you have it in you. I mean, we can see it. I mean, in terms of framing and in terms of...
Yeah.
Guys, you got to check out his portfolio. The pictures are completely, mind-boggling.
They're okay.
They're really, really good, man.
Yeah,
well, you're on the show. I mean, you've got to be outstanding.
I made it.
You made it.
Yeah, so I've been pushing myself more. It has to become like an obsession for me. Just like, it's not just about holding a camera and like pressing the record button and go. For me, I get into like the really depths of it, the frame rates, the learning from the best and all that kind of stuff. So this time when I went to Istanbul, it's like my favorite city in the whole world. I had to consciously, I tell myself, no, just don't take a photo. Just document as much as you can. I went for a friend's wedding, then we stayed back a bit. And I loved the place so much. I already been there like 3 times already. I was like, this time you need to capture it differently. Took my drone.
Yeah.
Never ever thought I would be droning over
What about drone laws in Turkey?
So I took my drone. Obviously, I get warned every time I go to any destination, like don't bring a drone. But like a lot of friends of mine have been and they've all done drone shots. I'm like, you know what? I'll wing it. I want to replace my drone anyways. Worst to worst, it's gone. Turkey Custom has a Mavic Pro. But I took it and I kept seeing tourists fly their drones everywhere. Like I kept seeing drones everywhere. I'm like, okay, it's pretty it seems to be chill. Definitely you can feel the energy, the vibe is more relaxed there than here. That's for sure. You can just tell, like, I just gauge these things. But obviously I'm also smart about where I'm flying from. That's gonna, like, in the middle of the street or Sultan Ahmed, I'm gonna fly. So the hotel that we were staying at, I had scoped out one day before. I went to the roof. I'm like, yeah, this is good. They don't mind. Hotel doesn't mind. And yeah, I took off like early morning. It's dead empty. And yeah, it was insane what I was able to capture. I didn't believe I could do it. I was flying over a building that's like, I don't know, was it 2,000-3,000 years old? The Hagia Sophia.
Yeah.
So that building is, and you're like this close to it, doing your little spin moves. I'm like, if this drone falls, I don't know how I feel about that.
Drone or the building, both.
Can you imagine?
All right. Interesting. Very interesting. So for your photography thing, did you ever had any kind of coach, mentor? Did you take any course, or did you just start shooting? What was your first camera?
So I think I've always had it in me to shoot. My father really loved like making videos and photography, but I never really picked it up. Like, it was just there. We had the tools, but I barely touched it. Remember this company called BlackBerry?
Yes.
You guys remember BlackBerry?
Yeah.
So they had a camera, right, in their phone. So now I have basically the tool that's with me all the time because of work. I have a BlackBerry.
3, 4, 5 megapixels?
I don't
Something
know
like
what
that.
it was. I have no idea. Even Nokia's, early on, Nokia started getting camera. So for me, it's kind of like just walking around like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll take a shot of it. So I started I started posting onto my Facebook. There was like, I don't even think Instagram was a big thing back then. It's like 10, 11.
Yeah.
And I remember like getting some feedback from family members because, Facebook is all your friends and family. Like, these are not bad. And when I go back to see them now, like, these are really crap. Like, what did you guys see? But, you could tell elements of framing and finding a moment. So it was really that. And then when I went to meet the community, this is where a lot of inspiration, your ideas and everything starts developing. Like, I was like terrified of editing. Like, it's my friends who are like, no, get this app, get that app, this does this, this does that. And slowly build up. A lot of YouTube. A lot of YouTube.
Tutorials,
just learning, like just taking inspiration and how they think, how they shoot. So it's just really been like that. It's never been like a course or study or anything. I'd love to.
You discovered yourself. Basically.
I'd love to. Like, there's a lot of talk in our groups about filmmaking. And maybe we should take it more seriously and do a course or something.
Filmmaking, it's a bit more complicated, when you get into frame rates.
Correct. And that's something I feel like, okay, I think I'm maxing out on YouTube, although there's probably a lot more there. But like, I wouldn't mind doing something like a proper course, pay good money for it. Yeah.
All right. So started with the BlackBerry. That was your first camera.
In ways, that was my first camera that I can remember.
All right. So smartphone cameras have really, really, improved in those years. And now, sometimes people like to say, it's like, for example, you have this YouTube channel called iPhonographers or something. Yeah. They do full-length videos and movies on iPhones. Yeah, correct. Yeah. The new iPhone is out. You were invited at the Apple event as well to speak about your photography.
They host a session called Today at Apple. So this is a few months back. It was a good one. Same kind of thing that we're doing here. They just want me to talk about the journey. The good thing about these events is they're not pushing you to promote app or anything. They just look at the artists, they like what they're doing, and come and talk about your journey. So that was a good one. And it's crazy to think that I have a relationship with Apple, so I do get to play around with the new iPhone. It's right there.
You have it right there?
I have it there. So these are things that just like manifested themselves. Like when I started this whole thing, it was like, how cool would it be to work with Apple or like Audi? Or
so you're like an ambassador for Apple photography or something like that?
Yeah, you could say that in the UAE.
In the UAE?
Yeah, regionally. So
you got picked up by them?
Yep. It's just how it is. An email came one day. Yes. And like, we would like to meet you. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, okay, I'll come on down. Yeah. So it's been a really good relationship with them. Yeah.
How long has this been?
Since the iPhone 8 Plus. So what's that? Yeah.
iPhone 8, and then we had. Sorry, I'm bad with iPhone generations.
I think then we skipped to 10.
10, yeah, and now 11.
Then we had a.
No, we had a 10.
Then we had a 10s.
10s, yeah.
10s Max, and now we're on the 11. So it's been a few years.
3 generations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've for your smart choice of camera in a smartphone, it has always been iPhone.
Yeah, correct. So for me, it was like, okay, BlackBerry was dying, and I was actually, funnily enough, I was against the whole iPhone thing. I just thought it was like a computer in your hand, and if it falls, it breaks. I think the first ones were they weren't that great. I think the iPhone 3, 3G, my wife used to have it. I used to make fun of her. Like, look at this BlackBerry, destroys your phone in terms of everything. When I got married, my best friend came down here from Australia, and he had an iPhone 4. I think it was 4S then. And I remember, I think I was like recording full HD video as well at that point. And it looked beautiful, by the way. I think the iPhone 4 is probably one of the most beautiful phones ever made. And he came and he just documented everything, photo, video, and that he was blowing whatever the professionals we got. I hated the professional photos. That we wasted good money on them. And I remember, like, I think it's time for me to get an iPhone. And I did. And I just loved the whole ecosystem. It wasn't just that. And then you had a decent camera. Like, this is a nice camera. And then you had a little bit of editing apps. And, this is like retina display. Yeah. Everything is like coming into fruition now. So I've been on an iPhone 4 since. And I still use the iPhone for like shoots.
I saw your shot on iPhone series on your website.
Yeah.
Those were some really, really good pictures.
Yeah.
And smartphone cameras these days are so good. I mean, it's difficult sometimes to say that these are smartphone cameras.
Absolutely, yeah.
Except that, I always miss that depth of field.
Well, they're working on their software-wise, not optical-wise, but software-wise. It is getting better.
Yeah, you've got to be in 2-3 meters of the subject, all of that, those things.
For sure, I don't think a phone at the moment is going to be able to do everything a camera can do.
Yeah, of course, and you have that flat glass rather than a series of glass that you have in the lenses.
The whole elements in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it comes to just like getting an image. I mean,
they're really good.
These things are like really coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you edit your pictures, do you rely mostly on apps or do you go on to professional software like Lightroom?
So it depends. Like if it's like a big commercial project and needs organization, needs a bit more detail, we go into the Lightroom. But I would say majority of the time I'm on an iPad. I'm using iOS. So technically I'm using apps, even though it's a Lightroom, but it's like the lighter version of Lightroom CC.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I don't know why, I hate editing on the laptop per se. For me, the laptop is the workhorse, is for the films that I'm going to make. And when it comes to editing, most of it's on the iPad.
Oh, yeah. That's surprising.
Yep.
Coming especially from somebody who does this as a living. I mean, and I've seen people so sort of hooked on to editing on laptops or let me say not laptops but professional proper software such as Lightroom and Photoshop.
Correct.
That they're like, even if I take an image with my phone, I'm gonna transfer it to my laptop and I'm gonna edit on Lightroom and all of that.
For sure, I have these conversations. They're my friends, and it's just like. Yeah, but I feel like this is the future. Like, why not just move into? Why don't you just do this? It's much easier. It's more intuitive. I feel like artistically you can play around more. And then, I know it sounds weird, but like just the fact that you do it with your finger, like the touch, the feel, it's a different.
And the best thing is if you're somewhere, you're in the moment, you take a picture, you edit a little bit. Yeah. You decide to discard it, take another picture immediately. So you get to know the results immediately rather than coming back home and finding out you crapped it out.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, Altamash. So just tell me something about your growing up, the years when you were studying, and you told me that you have grown up, practically lived most of your life here in the Middle East.
In the Middle East, yeah. I was born in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, born in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Lived there for a few years. My dad was a banker, so Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, did that for a few years. Majority of my life has been in Saudi.
Okay.
I was in Riyadh and another city called Khobar. And then came college time, university time, and I had applied to the States, to Canada. I got into pretty much whatever I applied to. I was going to go to Canada, but it was still interesting times that time. 9/11 was still kind of fresh. This is like 2004. It was a time where a lot of people were coming back from the States. I don't know. I mean, this is getting really old here. So I actually didn't get the visa, and Dubai or UAE was the backup. So I applied to AUD, American University in Dubai, and Sharjah. I had no intention of going to either of them, but my friend was like, Dubai's better, city-wise, come here. That's how I ended up here.
Okay, so from Saudi back to UAE.
Back to UAE, yeah.
Okay.
I made the round trip.
All right, so what I wanted to ask was, growing up, was there somebody who mentored you throughout your education life, or maybe getting into your career? Somebody that you look up to, somebody who was that shining North Star in your life?
Not really.
So you just winged it?
I basically just winged it, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't, yeah. I mean, obviously your parents are there, they're guiding you.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, those are there, but no, not...
Usually we end up not listening to the parents, you know?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of kids will probably say their dad or their mom, but like, not really. I think it's just in university.
Any teacher, any professor?
It was in university. I mean, when I went to university, I was gonna do computer science, and I remember going to the first class, and the guy was like dismantling a PC, and you had to put that back together. And I walked out of that class going, "No way, I'm gonna do this." And because you do 101 courses, like the introduction courses, I met this teacher. His name was Armin Papazian, and the way he spoke about finance, like just on the basic level, like that just hooked me. I was like, and that was it. Like that's the reason I did finance. Okay. Because he was really good. Like as a teacher, he was amazing. So yeah, but now he'll probably be like, "What are you doing now? You completely shifted your field." But I mean, education's education, right? Like I still do. I mean, photography in the arts is something, but it's also a business if you're going to make a living out of it. So I'm still using those skills and like negotiate contracts, all that kind of stuff, planning your lives, cash flow. So it's all coming into handy still. All right.
One question that I always ask my guests: how do you give back to the society?
It's a good question. In just general or like...
So
or on this, from this angle, the photography angle.
No, from you as a person, because see, you're here. I always say, by virtue of what you're doing and by virtue of the fact that a lot of people know you and you're much less successful, you have. I feel that every successful person has a responsibility to give back to society, because I mean, at the end of the day, that's how we pass on the successes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I want to ask you, what do you think you would want to do? It could be in your career, could be general advice, could be something that you would like to tell the new kids coming into photography business. Yeah. Or you could take up a mentee full time, groom, see talent in somebody and say, this is the guy that I want to be, I want him to be my successor. Yeah, my legacy, that kind of thing.
I mean, obviously doing what I do, I get a lot of kids asking me. I have a lot of people that come for advice and everything. For me, I firstly advise them. Like, I'll go through their portfolios if someone asks me, and could you help me with editing tips and this and that. I haven't really done one. I probably should make a YouTube video on this, something like that.
You should.
This is one thing. But it's also, I'm a very big believer in the whole community, and you need to give back. I would not be here for God knows how many people have helped me, to the point of like just taking me to a location and like I got a shot and it became, because of that shot, many other things start happening, There's always, your success is not your success. It's if someone's involved. For me, like, I'll give you this example of Apple, like, they need people, right? So I'm going to be out there like looking at talent, and I'm the type that just, you don't get selfish. You don't get like jealous. You control those emotions. I'm sure that everyone has them. And I'm very happy to recommend whoever. Like I work with Sony as well a lot. I have recommended God knows how many people to them. You know what I mean? You have to give back. Like, don't hoard your contacts. Don't hoard your success. even to the point of locations. This is like a weird thing that we have in our community.
Yeah.
Can you give me the location to this place? Because it might
That's
help.
your trade secret.
Well, that's
A lot of people,
that's what you say, and I've been like getting this feedback. But I was the kind of guy like, yeah, it's right here. Here's the Google pin.
Wow.
Yeah, go out and get the shot. Like
I don't see that a lot with most pro photographers.
It's really become like, see, I think when I started this thing, it was, again, it felt more community. It felt more everyone's trying to help out each other. Nowadays, it's like giving a location is like, no, man, exactly what you said. It's your trade secret. Why are you giving that up? That's your idea. But like I have this friend like me and Harold is the guy that sort of started the community here. It's called I Just Dubai. You should probably get on the show. I've been trying to make him do a podcast. And we're like, I don't know if we're more open-hearted, but we're like of the thought of, we would like to see what you can create in this location. Yeah, we did our thing, but let's see what you got, you know? Sometimes it can backfire because like we've given some locations and now those kids are like out there making campaigns for cars on these things. And then you lose out. But I don't know. I feel like just, good vibes, good energy, spread out, it'll come back to you. Yeah. That's on the photography side. Yeah.
Okay.
If someone needs help, I'll help them. Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing to do because, like you said, a lot of people are very, very selfish in these things. And my belief is that, creativity, when it comes to creativity, it's personal, it's unique. We can both be at the same location, having the same equipment, yet have completely different perspectives and photographs out of
Absolutely,
it, right?
yeah.
So that's where the creativity comes in. And nobody can steal that.
Exactly.
So even if you give away your location, even for example, I mean, I'm sure people would have been asking you, what camera did you use? What lenses did you use?
Yeah.
What filters did you use?
I get that all the time.
All of that, right?
All the time.
So even if you give all of that away, if somebody is not talented enough or have not put in that amount of effort and learned the actual skill, they would not be able to get the same shot.
Yeah. And this is what exactly what you just said. I tell that to the people like who are close to me, who are friends of mine. They get insecure about these things. Like, don't tell them all the secrets and this. I'm like, at the end of the day, it's your eye, it's your creativity. Something happens in the brain, something happens in the heart.
Yeah.
No one will be able to replicate that. No one. You can have the same setup. So, I mean, the question of gear comes so much. Can you tell me your exact equipment? I do list it down now.
What's your view on the gears, by the way?
Look, I want to have the best gear possible. Okay? I'm not going to lie. Gear is great, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to achieve an even greater photo from a phone these days.
Okay, tell me, any situation or any particular shot that you were taking and you thought, man, I wish I had that particular lens or that particular camera. This would have been so much better. I'm totally not satisfied with the shot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if people have seen my work, because I was on the mobile before, so you're stuck on that wide angle. You can't crop much. You can't do much with the resolution. So there are many moments I'll be driving. I'll see like, I'm obsessed with planes and whatnot. Like I see a frame happening and I can't get it. That's it. I have limited myself on the phone. That's when I was like, I need to get a camera. I wish I had a zoom. Like my eye seems to like telephoto.
Yeah.
I'm seeing things further away. So that's why I actually bought a camera. But I bought a camera because I got a job from Instagram and I was like, they thought I was taking photos with a camera. Although at that point it was all phone.
That one particular picture of the inside of a bow of a boat.
That's an iPhone.
Oh wow!
That's an iPhone.
Impressive.
Yeah, and that was actually picked up.
I'm gonna put that up here.
Yeah.
On the YouTube, so people who are listening on the audio version, go check out the video as well. Yeah. But that's an amazing picture.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So those were early days for sure. So these used to be...
When was this? Which year was this?
Maybe 2015.
Okay.
I know I say early days, but things are... In this world, like things are progressing very fast. Yes. So it's probably just a bunch of us that went on a photo walk. And this is the Jeddah area where they still build these ships. So for us, it's not just go out and keep taking photos of, the skyline, Burj Khalifa. We want to show real Dubai a lot. So that was probably just us hanging out. We went there. I had no idea about cameras and aperture, nothing. I just had an iPhone, whatever, 6 at that
Everything
point.
auto?
Everything auto, for sure. Like, for me, it was just like... So the owner kind of knew us at this point because we kept going there. We loved seeing the ship come to life. And yeah, we got access. He's like, let me show you the inside of the hull, and it looks like a skeleton. And I remember I was shooting the other way, and then I just happened to turn around, and there's like this beautiful frame just happened. And there was like, the workers were there. I'm into symmetry. So they were standing symmetrical, sort of. It's like, it's a fraction of a second. You have the shot. And like I've probably done like a few edits to that as well. Like, you know, I go through these phases of black and white and color and desaturated. Yeah, but that turned out to be a pretty successful photo for me. Like Instagram picked it up, Apple picked it up when they started their whole social media. It was featured on World Photo Day. Yeah, and like a lot of magazines and publications came like, could you tell us the camera, the setting? I was like, iPhone 6.
All on auto.
I don't know. It had the fade filter on it.
Edited on
Snapseed. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. You know, something's going on in my mind. This social media, the way it is blowing up now, everybody is a creator, everybody is taking pictures, posting. You said your picture was picked up by Apple, it was picked up by Instagram. What do you suggest, especially to newcomers in this industry, how to get noticed? Is it all about hashtags? I'm sure, you know, no matter what you do, it has to be a high quality image. It's about the kind of work that you do. Understood. But then I'm sure there are a lot of talented people who are just not being exposed properly.
100%.
So do you use any techniques?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, the work, and be true to yourself with the work. And obviously it has to be high quality, and you should be developing that all the time. That's king.
Yeah.
But also be smart. If you want to get noticed, the reason I probably got noticed of these, it wasn't because it just happened to be up on my page. No, I was smart about using the right hashtags. So the reason Instagram, for example, picked it up, and nowadays people don't care that much, but like back then it was like, yo, you are featured on Instagram. They do this weekly hashtag project. Instagram. They used to, they stopped now. Okay. Instagram is changing and dying.
The algorithms change, like
they're dying. You know. Don't fire me. But like, you participate in these competitions or something happening in the photographer community. So I was conscious about these, and I was like, yeah, this image goes with that. You need to be smart. You need to be using anything for discovery, and don't just tag random accounts. That.
How do you find which hashtags to use? I mean, this is something that I've also struggled with.
I mean, for me, it's like a few pages that I follow that I love, and they get the community involved. Like Passion Passport, have you heard of that? So they're more about travel, and they write a lot as well, and discovery. So they will do a monthly one, and they'll send a newsletter out, an email, or just you got to keep checking your social media,
right? And
it'll be something like a PP. The hashtag will be PP I travel for. So you have to participate. It's not like you can just keep posting and not be smart about if there's an opportunity for discovery. Then again, sometimes someone will post something insane. And the way I think the algorithm works now is like, if enough people share it, even if this guy did minimal effort in terms of marketing and SEO and all that, it'll blow up. It will be everywhere. Nowadays, I feel like this is the old version. Nowadays, with social media in general, I don't think hashtags are working as much anymore. It's not about that. It's about the share button.
How many people share?
How many people? I think the algorithm thinks that way as well.
Okay.
So in like 5 minutes, how many people have reshared onto their
and that's a huge competition
story. Oh, that's it. A lot of people don't
millions of people posting, and then
imagine the permutations on that. And a lot of people don't want to share your work, you know what I mean? But like, because you don't want, don't blow this photo up. But I think that's the new way of how, like, so in a way that means that your work needs to be king. That's the ultimate. Yeah. And if people like it, I think it's this human nature that they want to share it. So they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the people, I mean, you have your neutral audience.
Yeah, of course.
Who just want to look at good pictures, who want to get inspired. They will, of course, share. Right. You are more inclining towards Twitter, I've noticed.
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So you're
I think that's how we
focusing-
connected.
Yes, that's how we connected as
See?
well. Yeah.
And now I'm doing a podcast.
Yes.
There you go.
So,
Switch
who
to
knows?
Twitter.
Switch to
Everybody.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter is not optimized for images and
Yeah, but I don't know. So I've been experimenting with Twitter all year. When I start talking political crap, which I do, I get passionate about politics. I get passionate about like the climate
why
change.
haven't I never seen
Yeah,
those?
because I'm deliberately not tweeting about it anymore. And I was like, let me, in a very carefree way, just share images. And I started like posting these images on Twitter, and they started gaining traction. And again, the same thing that I used to feel about Instagram and Facebook and all, I'm feeling that in Twitter, the early days. There's a community. I'm linking up with you.
Yeah.
And you know that some of the people that we are already
Yes.
talking to. So you can see like a group forming.
Oh, interesting perspective. I never thought of it that way.
Think of it that way.
Because one, Twitter timelines are crazy fast.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So in seconds, you're out of the timeline.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Secondly, because of the way Instagram is formed, you go to a person's profile, you see the whole entire portfolio.
Yeah.
Twitter does not work.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I would think that you will need to do a lot of networking and a lot of optimization in terms of content.
Yes.
Other than relying on the framework that Twitter works on.
Yeah. So it's sort of like cross-sectional right now.
Yes.
So if, like, for example, the other day, well, I think it was you actually recommended me to someone.
Yeah.
Heather?
No, that was...
Digital Street?
Yeah.
That's Heather,
Zuhair,
right? Sorry.
Great friend of mine.
He's a friend of yours.
Yeah. He's
So,
been
I
a
mean-
guest on the podcast as well.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. I hope to meet him someday. But like, because of that connection, like obviously if he had went to my Twitter, he'd be like, no, I don't see anything. Like it's
Yes.
gone in the timeline. At that point, you got to link him back to your Instagram or your website, which is basically effectively your online portfolio these days. So I agree with you there. There's a lot of things about Instagram with anxiety and depression and people not getting the numbers. There's a lot of that going on these days.
And Instagram now is also removing the likes.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that because we, in our community, we had these conversations like, oh man, my like count is going down. What's happening to the algorithm? Like I tell everyone, like, you know, if they want to give you the dopamine hit, they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a photo that you thought wouldn't, blow up, somehow the algorithm does something and goes to explore, boom, it's gone like 10 times your engagement.
Yeah.
So we need to fight this, and it's funny that Instagram is acknowledging it. And I think in a bunch of countries they've even removed likes. I remember my brother-in-law came, was like, look at my Instagram, there's no likes. So it's a completely different experience. For me with Twitter was like, okay, I have it, let me be more active on it, and I'm starting to see this community grow from it. But Twitter, if like your images do well because of the way people like, and then it comes into your like, so if people are liking, you will see it first thing in the morning. Like these people like this tweet, and it's like 21 hours ago, and the way people reshare, it's much, I don't know, fluid, interesting. Like things people say like 3 lines on Twitter, they're funny and they blow up. Like they go like 200K, 300K shares. Yeah. So it's
the virality factor is much
more on Twitter. So. I've been like encouraging people to get on Twitter, and you won't believe I honestly have built an entire Instagram community from there.
Oh,
yeah, like a lot of the photographers that I know on Instagram are there. And the thing is, when you tweet, because like you said, it goes away in the timeline. You're not worried. I don't worry if I'm gonna get like 6-7 likes on that. I just know it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Within 12 hours, it's gone. I can probably share those pictures again and I still won't care, whereas on Instagram you cannot do that. You have to curate your page. If I shared like the moon picture a week ago, I'm not going to share it again within the same week. No way.
You got to follow the grid.
I do grid management. I don't know if people notice it, but like it's a curated page, like colors.
It's a pain, man.
Yeah, it's fun though. Like someone with like my head inside, I was like, I like the color sequence. I like the fact that the moon is diagonal, right? I go a bit into this stuff, but it's curated.
I tried it once. You know what I ended up doing? I took a picture of Burj and I sliced it into 9 square.
Yeah, that was the thing.
There goes the grid.
Yeah, there goes the grid.
So you've got a full grid done.
Yeah.
I'm happy for a month now.
Yeah, there you go. 9 is
until I
done.
think 9 done.
Yeah, that's exactly why I actually started another account. Like it's ALJVD, but just with an underscore, because it was kind of like I don't want to put in the ALJVD has its own element, artistic element, and I can feel it. People recognize my images sometimes. Like, yeah, we knew that was your image before we read the caption. But the other account is just throw whatever up. Don't worry about a grid. Don't worry about editing. Like all the testing I'm doing right now with this phone, I just put it there, and it's like for me, I don't have to worry about it at all. Yeah.
So when you're working on a project maybe let's say the iPhone 11, if you're working on a project to promote this particular brand, this particular camera, does Apple or any other company, like you were recently doing a project with Sony?
Yeah.
So do they give you a sort of a mandate, a kind of a structure to, okay, we would like you to go and take pictures of buildings or go out in the desert, or is it an open canvas for you?
It's a kind of a mix, to be honest. Like they've selected me based off this kind of work. Like, we like what you did with this building, we like what you did with the moon, so we kind of expect you to do it. But yeah, and then they can come in with their feedback and go like, yeah, like this one has 61 megapixels, so maybe you want to do something more with like cityscape, and then show how to crop in. So it's like a healthy discussion. I give my ideas, they give their ideas, but at the same time I will say that it's not like I'm not allowed to criticize. You know what I mean? That there's no clause or anything like that that says like, no, you need to be like 100% positive about it all the time. Just be you. Right. Just do you. And that's what I've been doing.
And that does not suffocate your creativity?
No. Not.
They give you that amount of room.
Like this, in this scenario, no. But then again, you'll have like another job. Like, forget the cameras at this point, and that can suffocate your creativity. Like, I'm doing something right now with food and all. Like, I can't be my kind of creative on that. It's just a job. Sometimes it's just a job, and you go like, okay, why am I doing this? But I mean, you gotta earn, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of helps as well, like to throw yourself on the deep end. Sometimes I'm like, these days I'm learning a lot from like this guy who's filming this stuff and the whole food scene and the restaurant. Like, you get to meet these chefs, and it's like, it opens your mind. So it's cool that this world of photography has like opened my mind to so many other avenues.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to, let's design a camera, shall we?
Ooh.
That'll be interesting, right?
Yeah.
So recently there was this Canon EOS R that came out. A lot of videographers were criticizing it for 4K crop.
Yeah.
So it had a horrible crop. Some said, okay, some other camera comes out, does not have image stabilization, all of those things. So if you were to design a camera, what would be the features that you would want? A perfect camera that you would be able to carry, take out and shoot that beautiful picture that you see driving by, or a plane crossing on top of your
this camera would have like a fixed
the
lens.
Altamash camera.
Yeah, it would have like a lens that I don't have to ever worry about taking on and off. I find that super annoying. It would have like a fixed aperture.
So it'll be like what?
It'll go
8
like,
mm to...
It'll go like to 10 to like 1,000 millimeters.
Oh.
Yeah, if I were to go, like, I'm really opening my mind here. Like, it'll be like all the way wide to something crazy telephoto. Obviously, we're nowhere close to that tech. And a good aperture range. Like, even if it's a fixed f4, very happy. I hate cards. I hate memory cards. I just feel like these cameras.
Sometimes I do wonder. These phones, they have such high amount of memory. I mean, built in. Yeah,
solid
half a terabyte.
Yeah, half a terabyte is in this thing right here.
This thing? Why can't cameras have fixed memories?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hate memory cards, and we all know that they can get corrupt.
Man, the failure rate on these are
still.
Yeah, still.
And like, I'll give you an example. Like, I was shooting with the A7R4. It just came out, and I was in Istanbul. I was testing that out. I was like, listen, I'm going. I might as well take this camera and do some shot. Now, if you have 61 megapixels, imagine me shooting RAW and JPEG, and I was shooting a very high level JPEG. It kept buffering. So there's a lot, and because the card
of the card
is not reading fast. I just feel like my camera would not have any of this. It would just be solid state, 2-3 terabytes inside it, and like it automatically uploads to a cloud. I don't have to worry about backup.
Man, you gotta push this off to
Sony. Anyone here?
Sony, if you're listening, we'd like some sponsorship for the podcast as well.
Free cameras. Yeah, I mean, this is if I could like get rid of the whole lens changing thing, a low enough aperture, and this whole storage issue, I'd love it. I don't know if you've heard, like this new camera came out, the one that shoots 6K. Blackmagic. Everyone's talking about
Pocket
the
Cinema.
Blackmagic. Yeah. Well, the reason, obviously, I haven't tested it, but it looks great.
I'd love to get my hands on it.
I want to get it.
Yeah.
I want to definitely test it. But you know what I really love? I love the screen.
Yeah.
So
that camera is crazy, man.
when I first got a camera, like when I bought a camera, it was like a Fuji, and it didn't even have a viewfinder.
Oh,
no viewfinder. It was just a screen.
Only screen. Yeah.
It was just a screen. So I got so used to shooting with just a screen on, even in like blazing sunlight, that I've always been a screen person. So the bigger the screen can be, I just feel like framing.
And with the phones, you get all of that. The entire screen is a viewfinder.
Yeah. When you're shooting on a camera, any camera, when you look at the picture, you go, eh. But when you take it back to your like a big screen, your iMac, whatever, you go, oh, okay, now it looks like a decent photo.
Yeah.
But imagine having that in your hand, and I think that's what this Blackmagic is doing. I saw it like at the expo. I don't know if it's exposure. I just went there. A bunch of people were shooting already with it, like pros.
Wow.
And like the screen is beautiful. So I think these few elements, if I could have in my camera, I'm a very happy man.
So you want a big screen?
A big screen.
You want solid state
storage with automatic upload to a cloud, where I don't have to worry about anything. Fast transfer, a lens that can do everything. What else can we do?
Filters.
Filter. Obviously, I want the small form. I hate having big cameras. It needs to stay in that mirrorless category range.
Oh yes. Yeah. Mirrorless now. Yeah, the future is mirrorless, right? Canon's finally hopping onto it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of saw it happening when I had even a small little Fuji camera, because I was still understanding what is a mirror to a mirrorless. I didn't understood like, oh, this is why DSLR is so big.
Yeah.
So I kind of just saw it, and I remember like I wanted to buy a Sony system. It was an A7R2 system at that time. Like I saw the image quality, it was insane, full frame, but I couldn't afford it. And like the other system was like half off. So I stuck to that. So, the journey somehow, manifestation got me to Sony. So they're in a really good place right now with their tech that they're doing. But yeah, we should probably pitch this camera to them.
Yeah, design some camera and
design a camera. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Patent it first before you go out to these.
Don't put this podcast out. Let me go. Let me go patent this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. What next? Where do we go from here? Where does Altamash go from here?
That's a good question. Altamash hopefully just gets better at what he's doing. He does a lot more film, a lot more movie making.
I really want to see some of your videos.
Yeah, absolutely. I probably have a lot of footage already that I'm just lazy about not putting together. I feel like I'm now finally learning and getting into a flow. He would like to travel a lot more. I feel like traveling for me, it really inspires me to shoot and learn everything. So yeah, I think for me, I will take your advice and advice of a lot of others and really get into filmmaking. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to see a lot of commercial filmmaking as well from you.
Hopefully. Yeah. I think for me, it will be important just to keep doing personal projects in terms of filmmaking. I always see it that way, like you're putting your work out there and then the work comes to you. Just try to do your best and the jobs will come. Yeah, and that's actually an advice I need to like probably speak to the kids about, because everyone's like focusing on a certain like how to recreate a shot, and then hopefully this tourism company, that government will call me. Like, no, just do you. Find your niche, find what you love to do, and if the work is good, they will come to you.
So are you mentoring somebody these days? Do you think a mentor-mentee relationship, is it important? I mean, because
yes, I
think you would realize that had you had a mentor while growing up, it could have act as a catalyst to your development.
I think so. Yeah, I think mentorship is super important. even with this whole photography journey, I think Harold was my mentor in a way. Like he was just a guy that I kept throwing questions to. Stupid questions.
You should get him to be on the podcast.
I will ask him. I've been trying to get Harold to do any podcast because he's, again, shy, very shy. I think he'll be a very interesting person to talk to. In the whole non-selfish, good-hearted, you know, I think you'll find that. So I guess like there was a guy for me to bounce off these questions. I asked a lot of questions, but you're right. If someone was like a proper mentor, like I think people will grow up faster, have a clear direction, much better. I won't say I'm mentoring someone specific. For me, it's more like a bunch of people I know, acquaintances.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. So there is like a back and forth going with them, you know, and it's cool to see their work once in a while. Like I might not be following you, but like once in a while they'll send me a picture like, yo, so I took into what you said and like look at this. Like I get a lot of moon pictures. I get a lot, like especially full moon time. Yeah, you should see my DMs, like and like I get tagged on that, and I'm seeing like progression. Like before there was like a blown out moon, and now they're framing it with something, and then because I'm also trying to when I'm doing these type of shoots, I'm giving like tips on the settings. I think they're all there. So yeah, when people ask me, so I have like a few people that I know I speak to, just like little tips here and there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically you so in a way you are being a part of their journey.
Yeah.
Pulling them on.
Yeah.
You know, just guiding them. And mentors are not supposed to hold your hand and walk you over the bridge.
Yeah.
They're supposed to tell you how to cross that bridge. But you have to cross it yourself.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
But having a mentor in your life, it really I think it enhances that journey, the and I always say it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. The learning process that you go through. You've got to fall in love with the process.
Absolutely.
Of learning.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only way that you learn and grow. Yeah. And mentors are there to make you fall in love with that process.
Never thought of it that way. That's profound.
Okay. I
That's
I think
profound.
I just said something intelligent.
Yeah. You should like cut that out, make a clip out of it. Yeah, you should. I don't know if you watched there's everyone's favorite travel film that everyone copies. It's called Watchtower Turkey.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
that. I mean, the reason...
but that is amazing.
So that thing is shot in 2014. So we're talking about, obviously, the tech is way back. Yeah. The guy was only shooting at 24 frames a second. He didn't have all the 120 and all that. And it's just how he felt about this place and the way he like transitions even. Like now every kid in the world is trying to copy what... We all travel videos are basically... trying to copy him. Watchtower Turkey. But I remember reading an interview by him because when I get obsessed with something, so now my obsession of filmmaking is really, really growing. So I'm not just going to look at his video. I'm going to go find something reading. Like I'll find some interview by him. So I did find something on him. And he had a mentor in Italy. Some renowned DOP director. And it turns out this guy, Leonardo, he was working under this DOP for a long time. So imagine how much he's learned, how much he's taken in.
That's the thing, you know, people only see the tip of the iceberg.
We just saw the Watchtower Turkey. Yeah. He made another one before this. People don't know that. Very few people. The Watchtower Morocco.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Same style, but for some reason it didn't have that soul. So it didn't do well. Even I watched it like, yeah, it was all right. It was nice, but it was all right. Then, I don't know, all those years of experience, he had a mentor. I think he was crossing the bridge then. Yeah. And boom, this happened. And now the guy is like working all over the world. Even when I was editing my video, I'll give you this, like the Turkey video, because both of us are making a Turkey film. Because I had done so much research and how his process and everything, for some reason during the edit, not during the shoot, while I was shooting, that was me. I was doing my thing. I was like, am I making a Watchtower Turkey?
Yeah, so back and forth to make sure you're not exactly...
I don't. No, because I was so ingrained in me. I was like, no. Then I had to really like take breaks during the edit process, walk away from it. I was like, no, that's him. You need to do you. You know, if like the azan feels good there, for me, there's deeper meaning in everything. Yeah. Like this video for me is like, there's like symmetry and meaning behind every clip. So like, I remember I was discussing with a friend before I started the edit process, and she's like, yeah, do this, and you'll get that Leonardo look. And then when I posted it, she loved it. She's like, but it's nothing like him. I'm like, yeah, because
you don't want to be.
Yeah,
like
she's
him.
like, you did you, and I like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for being on the show, Altamash.
Thank you for having me.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll have you again someday.
Hope so.
And you're also going to push your friend Harold to be on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening and watching. And if you found value in this podcast, the easiest way to support me is to subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the podcast, share it with your friends in either in informal conversations or just share it across your network. The more people we have, the more inspirational ideas we have. And till next time, stay inspired, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.